I'm trying to find something real. These human souls, they're different, but they're the only thing making sense to me right now.
I've been in here hundreds of times, but
is that right?
This might be the most special time. Yes, I grew up. I am from the Jersey Shore, so this is a very special opportunity for me.
That's great, man.
Thank you so much.
Holds a lot of special resonance for me too now.
When people see the movie, they'll understand the importance of the Stone Pony and everything it represents about the people here. So I'm very excited for that.
Man.
I want to start out with, was there a detail or specific detail in Bruce's life or music that you felt you really needed to include in this story?
Yeah, it's the quiet moments, because for Bruce, the quiet got a little loud. Bruce said to me, he said, you know, Scott, when I'm on stage for 3.5 hours, that's when I'm at my best. I'm communing with my audience. I'm doing what I love. I'm expressing myself. He said, it's the other 21 hours where I have a very difficult time. And this particular time frame that I focus on is Nebraska. Bruce Springsteen in 1982 was at a crossroads, and he could have chased the roar of arenas and more hits, but instead he chose silence, a 4-track recorder in a rented bedroom in Colts Neck, New Jersey, and the courage to look inward. And that choice gave us Nebraska, what I think is one of the great albums of the last 50 years. And it's a work of raw truth and vulnerability that has haunted me since I first heard it. So it was really about, how do I dramatize a man in a spiritual crisis?
I want to talk about the importance of showing that separation of self-isolation in Colts Neck and Freehold versus him playing at the Stone Pony in Asbury, where he felt most alive. Talk about that disconnect between the two worlds.
Yeah, the contrast of being at home in Colts Neck, writing Nebraska, and enduring this spiritual crisis, with playing with the Cats on a Smooth Surface or a pickup band on this stage behind me. I mean, I haven't asked Bruce, but I would imagine that he's played more on this stage than any stage anywhere in the world. And it's home for Bruce. And it's the one thing that gives him a sense of solace. He feels like he's in control, because the rest of the time he isn't in control with his life. And it gives him a type of feeling, unfortunately, of the connection with the audience, because you've been here. Mm-hmm. And you have 300 people right up to the stage. The connection that he wasn't getting in his life. Most importantly, that he wasn't getting for a very long time from his father.
Now, if you'll indulge me, I'm about to get super Springsteen nerdy with this question. Yeah. The end credits song is Atlantic City Live from New York during the reunion tour.
2000.
Yes, Madison Square Garden. Does that symbolize Bruce's healing over time? Because we knew he struggled to play with the E Street Band for Atlantic City, Nebraska.
That's exactly right.
And then over time, we've seen Johnny 99, Reason to Believe, Mansion on the Hill, all now played with the E Street Band.
That's right. Yes, because we see in the film that when Bruce brought in the 4-track recorder and started recording what would become Nebraska, he didn't think he was making a record. He just thought he was expressing himself. He thought that this is a neglected soul who would nourish himself through song, exercising these demons of unresolved trauma. The idea was always to take this cassette, this demo cassette, to the E Street Band, like always, and they would ultimately electrify it. It didn't work. It wasn't the sound he wanted. It completely changed the nature of the songs. And in 1981 and 82, he wanted specifically the sound that he captured in his bedroom. And getting that sound from a cassette to a vinyl, to an album, was nearly impossible. And we show the great lengths to which Bruce went and his team to get that done. Now, we also see that he says to John Landau's longtime manager outside of the power station in New York City, we can't get this. We're not getting it. And then we hear it. That's exactly why it's at the end of the film, that they ultimately got it. And then people who know Bruce know that he got a lot of those songs.
And that's fantastic, because that reunion tour was the first time they played together since entirely the Born in the USA
That's exactly
tour.
Right.
And so that, to me, almost symbolizes the healing and the time kind of making his way, figuring things out, and then eventually being in the right headspace to then include everybody.
And I thought that's the perfect way to end this. Look, the film is not tied up in a neat bow, but you get a sense that this is a man who is on the path, the journey towards healing, both with the E Street Band as well as with his father. And it's a man moving forward. I think it was yesterday in 1982 that Nebraska was released. I was in this very room yesterday with Bruce Springsteen and John Landau. And that record means as much to Bruce now as it did when he released it.
Do you have a favorite Springsteen show you've been to?
I would have to say that it was, well, the See Here Now show was incredible.
Amazing.
And Bruce ranks that among his all-time best.
Played so many things from Greetings from Asbury Park that we haven't heard in such a long time.
That's right. But I would urge people to see him, if they can, outside the United States. Having seen him in Barcelona was, I've never seen anything like it. And it's almost like a revival, a very spiritual revival. So I'm so happy that we know that Bruce is an icon in the United States and that people all over the country love him and revere him. But to see him spread that music around the world like he does is incredibly rewarding.
His performance in Barcelona in 2003, I could watch those over and
Remarkable.
over again, especially The Promised Land. Amazing.
And I'm really happy that during that show, of course, I was out in the audience. And Bruce says, this next song goes out to my buddy Scott. And he goes right into Atlantic City. So that's why it's special.
That might be, if that ever happened, that would be the greatest moment of my life. I think last question I want to know is, were there any scenes that were shot that didn't make the film because either you didn't have time or it may not have fit
that
the
happens
right story?
with every film. Again, you know, when you make a film, you make it 3 times. You write it, you rewrite it when you're shooting, and then you're rewriting it when you're editing it. And the film will tell you what it needs and what it doesn't. And so often you cut scenes not because they didn't work. I mean, all the scenes that I shot actually worked beautifully, but in concert with the film, maybe are unnecessary, maybe make too much of an emphasis for a certain point, maybe end up being confusing. It's so often that, and I remember William Faulkner, the great American author who taught my father English at the University of Virginia, he said, you know, you have to kill your darlings. And if you kill your darlings and the novel still holds up, then you've got something strong. So, you know, you have to do that with a lot of your movies. You kill your darlings, some of your best scenes. It's unfortunate, but it happens.
For my fellow Jersey Shore natives, were there any scenes shot in Jersey around here that didn't make it? Because I know we see a lot of the Boardwalk, Convention Hall. Anything else?
Yeah, most everything that we shot in Jersey did make it.
Frank's Deli, I know.
Yep. A few things inside the Colts Neck house maybe ultimately felt like we had mined that territory. A moment on the beach between Bruce and Faye, I felt like I got that in the carousel. That maybe felt a little unnecessary, but most everything else is in.
As somebody who never got to see the actual carousel in the carousel, it's such a joy to see. Seeing what my parents were talking about the actual carousel is fantastic.
It's so great. Well, I mean, look, there's a lot of archival photography about just what it looked like. And when you have Bruce Springsteen as your creative consultant and you send him all the images and say, is this what it felt like? And then he steps on set and he's like, this is exactly what it looked like. That's a great feeling.
I remember there were a few shots when you guys were shooting at Frank's where Bruce was in the parking lot kind of, you know, while everybody was getting ready.
Yeah.
How important was that to have him on set to not necessarily step on top of things, but kind of, you know, say, yeah, this would have happened or kind of looked like this?
It was critical for me. It was gold having Bruce there, because who better than Bruce to tell me what was your state of mind during this? Or is this the right color Camaro? Or is this what the Stone Pony felt like in 1981 when you're playing with Cats on a Smooth Surface and you're playing Lucille and Boom Boom, songs that he's played countless times on this stage?
Light of day.
Yeah. So what was the feeling? So, I mean, look, I'm not making a documentary, but it's as authentic as a movie can get about Bruce Springsteen.
Amazing. Scott, thank you so much for your time. Such a pleasure to meet you. And I could talk Springsteen all day.